talk about artificial intelligence and future for the humans. And I want to introduce our guest, Sergey Burkov, Mikhail Makevich. Hi, guys. Please introduce yourself, Sergey. You should be fast.
Well, my name is Sergey Burkov. I'm founder and CEO of the artificial intelligence company called Altera.ai, and we do natural language processing using machine learning neural networks. And more specifically, we have built a sort of a chatbot that can answer questions about companies and their products. So a company would give us their frequently asked questions list, and our software will convert it into a question answering bot.
Okay. And Mikhail. Wow. What's going on? Okay, we're waiting, Mikhail. And first question, what do you think about next steps for the artificial intelligence during the pandemic?
Just getting more accurate and becoming more like natural intelligence. But it's still a long way to go.
Okay.
Anybody?
Michael is back.
Am I live now? Yeah. Okay, great. I have experienced a crash. Okay. Live?
Yeah.
Everything is online. Okay, great. So,
yeah, Mikhail.
Apparently, turns out we work in a very similar field with Sergey. Until recently, until a year ago, I used to work for military. I was developing artificial intelligence for drones. But now I'm a technical director of a company that develops an AI that does cognitive behavior.
Okay. Yeah, it's because
boom.
Yeah, it's like a network connection. Okay, let's go to the what's going on with AI during the pandemic. What is it different?
I don't see any difference.
But maybe because like a lot of companies, they moved to the remote work.
Yes, apparently yes.
And how it look like today for your customers, for example?
I don't know. I don't see much change. So I think work from home, remote work is one trend, and AI is a different trend that I don't see much correlation.
And if you talk about new opportunities for the technology beyond like the next 10 years.
Oh, it's very difficult to predict, especially the future. I don't know what will be beyond the 10 years. It's hard to predict what will happen next year.
Okay, but maybe for the 2-3 years.
Well, still it's a long way to go for artificial intelligence to become resembling natural intelligence, at least a little bit. We are not in the situation that some people fear that it will be machine takeover or revolt or whatever, or even machines taking the humans' jobs. I think we are quite far from them.
Interesting. And what is the new opportunities for the technology, for the machine learning or artificial intelligence, like the new something for the medical, for the telehealth, for the robotics, VR and AR?
I think it's everywhere, absolutely everywhere. There are opportunities in image recognition, speech recognition, natural language processing, self-driving cars. It's everywhere. And in more mundane things like data analysis, you want to analyze data and to draw conclusions from that analysis. And that's typically what machine learning is doing.
Mm-hmm. And what is the main problem right now? What do you think about OpenAI?
Well, the problem is that it is still very early and not accurate enough. That it cannot fully replace a human, but if it becomes human-like, that it is of course more productive. So if you manage to build image recognition system that is almost as good as a human, that of course after that it could process millions of images at the time when the human can process one. So the quality, the accuracy of work is the problem. Productivity is of course not. Machines are more productive than humans. So if machine becomes as accurate as a human, then we are in business.
Yeah, it will be great. Okay, Mikhail, you're back.
Yes, I am. I am experiencing some difficulties, but whatever. They're not with internet. My internet is working fine.
Yeah,
So
because it's all on the like a network side. Because before it was so. Okay, let's back to your product. What you to do in this space with chatbots and artificial intelligence?
okay, so that's where I got cut off, right? Where I was explaining what
Yeah.
product is doing.
At the very beginning.
So we are developing an artificial intelligence that does cognitive behavioral therapy. So basically, it does basic levels of psychological support and is actually pretty capable of replacing a live psychologist on a low stages. So if somebody is experiencing a mild depression or a mild anxiety, we can actually fully replace a psychologist. That's my introduction.
Oh, okay. And what is your next goal for your product?
Sorry?
What is your goal for your product?
As in, what's our vision?
Yeah.
So basically, we are a couple of months away from releasing a fully available app, and since we release it, it will probably be a couple of months to the moment where you will be able to actually speak to a psychologist, to a robot psychologist. But our end goal vision is a full VR, where you can receive the same experience as actually visiting a psychologist. So you can take your VR headset on and just lay on the couch and go at it.
And my first question was, what is the next for the artificial intelligence beyond like the next 15 years?
You mean future?
Yeah.
So there are, in my opinion, there are really only two ways this can go, right? First way is that there is some ceiling, some place beyond which you can't actually improve your artificial intelligence. So we can imagine that this is possible, that we will hit this singularity where we can actually improve past that point. But I think it's unlikely. I think in the next actually like 20 to 30 years, artificial intelligence will actually exceed human capabilities. And that's actually the scary part, because we have seen what's called Murphy's Law, where you have computing power growing exponentially. The biggest reason for that is that when you receive a new computer, you increase your calculating abilities, so you build a new better computer faster every time, right? And that's what's most likely is going to happen to AI. The second you build an AI that is better than human, it will start developing itself. And that's really the scary part, because it will just jump, right? Because at this point, our capacity for developing AI will not be needed. And actually, there is a debate and a big worry, like people like Elon Musk tend to express this worry the most, that this artificial intelligence is likely to replace a human as a whole. So that's quite a grim, dark prediction, but that's probably what's going to happen.
Manana, I don't hear you.
Sorry. And what's going on with artificial intelligence and new product during the pandemic? How this, I don't know, like the behavioral will change?
So first things first, pandemic was actually really good for our product, although cynical as that might sound. First of all, obviously, yes, a lot of people got stuck in their houses, and humans are very social creatures, and to socialize basically to keep ourselves alive, and being stuck inside inside four walls really did a number on people's psychological condition, obviously, but also there was a different thing where people not being able to get out started sitting on their phones more, right? And since we are at the phone, we became much more accessible, much more disease people. And there's also additional bonus for us that a lot of psychologists had to cancel appointments to go online to basically turn into us as we are. But being an artificial intelligence, we are like 10 times cheaper than a psychologist. So yeah, it did really well for us.
Yeah, actually, it's so complicated because it's all about mental health, and it was like the same question for the Sergey, and what's like the beyond for this year? What do you think about new vision for the new technologies? How it's work for the maybe optimizing artificial intelligence, maybe machine learning, maybe something for the robotics, VR and AR, maybe for the next gen systems and like a self-tracking devices. Yeah, like maybe for the energy too, maybe for the health and education. It was like the same question for the Sergey. What is your next investment trends in this year? What do you think, Mikhail?
Sorry, I thought it was a question for Sergey. Can you repeat it,
No,
please?
no, same as she said.
Yeah, and let's move to the next. What do you think on the technology
Sorry,
side?
can you repeat the question? I had
What
interrupted.
what is the next trend in technology? If we talk about completely different spheres, medical,
No,
education.
you mean sorry, in
Yeah,
the
for
context of artificial intelligence, the
yes,
next
yes,
trend.
yes, yes. Yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah. How it's work
so
for the different industries, how it's work for the maybe combination between the completely different technologies like the VR and AR, yeah, like the biohacking.
as I see it from my perspective, there are three distinct trends when you separate by fields, right? First trend is medical diagnostics, because artificial intelligence is in the process of achieving the accuracy that would allow it to actually exceed medical professionals. Like there was some news just coming out just this week. A Ph.D. student from MIT won $1 million by building an artificial intelligence that diagnoses cancer better than actual doctors do it. There is a problem with this field right now, as in this field is overregulated. I'm very afraid of actually. Am I still here? Do you hear me?
Yeah, you hear.
Yes. So you can hear a lot of people saying that they will never trust an artificial intelligence over the doctor. Like it's actually so common that you had a woman on the, there was a SpaceX shuttle launch some time ago, right when they launched the first rocket, and they commentators there, like these were some pretty educated people in the spheres of IT, even though they're commenters, so they're not literal engineers. But they had a discussion about artificial intelligence in there, and a woman actually said that she would never let a robot as much as take her temperature. So as it is right now, there is a pretty big level of distrust. The biggest problem of AI in medicine is actually not the inability of AI to do some diagnostics. It's the distrust that general populace shows it, right? Because there are a lot of fields like cancer diagnostics, for example, that have AI be actually a lot better than a human is, but are still closed for AI, at least for AI being completely autonomous. So you have right now a lot of cancer diagnostics being guided by AI, but humans still have to control it as it is right now. Then there is a second field, obviously, that is growing a lot right now, and probably everybody heard about it, at least something, is autopilots.
Yeah, exactly.
So the field is actually a lot more important than you think at first, because
Boom.
Yeah.
Now, speaking about the autopilots, imagine that something like this happens when the autopilot is driving a car and then
is
there is the
truck
interruption.
autopilot.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah.
It's a lot of money. It's literally billions of dollars all over the world. And in some states, in United States of America, I sadly don't know the statistics for other countries, but in some states, truck driver is actually the first most common job. So there is a lot of people working in truck driving. And these people are going, and like this field is going away. It's getting outsourced by AI. I say in next 5 to 10 years. That's my prediction. Now,
Yeah.
again, it's facing the same issue right now.
My prediction is that
And
it
the
will
issue
be
is
30 years.
that people are generally speaking too afraid to let self-driving cars drive them. So it's pretty likely that Congress is going to try to stall it. But still, no matter what, autopilots will be employed, and they're a huge multi-billion-dollar field. And the first company that actually breaks it, that builds the full autopilot, will just fly into space. And the third field is I would say, now that this one is debatable because we are going knee deep. I'm saying the third field is image recognition. Again, though, not in a way that you might think. The thing is, it's not image recognition on its own, it's web scraping in general. In 21st century, everybody, by the way, am I still on?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay,
something.
I'm sorry about my paranoia, but I'm going to keep asking this. Yes. So
No,
in
no, no.
21st century, there is an unspeakable amount of information being left out in the open. Everybody has like 3 to 4 social networking pages. And while like sometimes ago, maybe like even 5 years ago, the only information you could scrap is some general information, you know, out of the text that was left. Today, you can actually analyze images. You can look at a person, you can say which lipsticks they use, you can look at the pictures of their food, you can know what is their favorite food. And then there are all these correlations that you don't even expect, but you can look at the person's lifestyle and you can say how much money do they earn, right? So and from that you can make out a lot of decisions. And there is an unspeakable power in that specific field that I think humanity as a whole is yet to understand. And
Sergey, what?
also, sorry, I'm going to end this in a second.
Yeah.
Also, there is this specific field also has another use, which is global surveillance. You have maybe 5 years ago, right? There were like 3 cities in the whole world where you had every camera hooked up to an image recognition AI. So that was London, New York, and Beijing. But right now it's just spreading. Russia built it in Moscow 3 years ago, and now they're starting the process of integrating 5 more cities into it. And my prediction is in 10 to 20 years, probably every major city on Earth will employ some sort of image recognition system.
Okay, Sergey, what do you think? Same question. Let's talk about why you disagree.
Yeah, so on.
Because yeah, it's really great conversation, and I wanna.
Yeah, so, well, what's going on now around the
Sorry, I have a
artificial
problem. I don't
intelligence?
hear Sergey at all.
No.
Do you hear me, Manana?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Strange.
Yeah, but I don't hear.
Yeah.
Like nothing. I can see that he's talking, but I don't hear a single word.
Okay. No, they're good.
Well, that's actually what's going on now with the stream is a good illustration of
Yeah.
how artificial intelligence could be implemented in real life. That it's artificial intelligence, it's algorithms, software, and software is still buggy. And bugs alone should give us
Going to try
breaks.
to reconnect.
Yes, please.
Yeah, so imagine that you have this promised fully autonomous car, and then the problems like with Michael's connections happen when the car is driving on the highway full speed.
Yes, exactly.
You could imagine the consequences.
Yeah.
So but beyond the buggy software, there are problems with algorithms. Machine learning, artificial intelligence for self-driving cars is nowhere near as promised by Elon Musk. Bullshit is eating the world. Elon Musk promised officially as the CEO of public company Tesla that his company will build a car that normal Tesla will cross United States from Los Angeles to New York fully autonomously, completely on its own in the year 2018. It has not happened, and I bet it will not happen for the next 20 years, perhaps.
20?
And I'm not, yes.
Wow.
And I'm not alone. The people who work in the field, who are experts, who are doing these systems, give predictions for full driving cars like 15, 20, 30 years from now. Or maybe more, who knows, maybe never. So bullshit is eating the world. The autopilots are not as powerful as people think they are. And in my view, the progress will be gradual, that the current autopilots that can apply emergency brakes, that can follow the previous car, that can stay in the lane, and basically that's it. What it can do now, it will improve. It will be gradually getting better and better and better and better, and eventually do more. And yeah, one day it will become fully autonomous, but it's a long and winding road. Manana, we don't hear you.
Sergey, what is the most like the ridiculous thing that you had in artificial intelligence? What do you think about fake news and plus deep fakes?
Well, fake news and deep fakes are
Yeah.
So there is a lot of misunderstanding. There is a lot of bullshit being said these days around artificial intelligence, and artificial general intelligence is perhaps the biggest piece of BS. It's nowhere near what we have now, and every time you hear about AGI, artificial general intelligence, you could be absolutely sure that that's bullshit.
Wow.
Nothing like that is going to happen in the foreseeable future, and nobody knows what natural intelligence is. Well, that said, there are many places where I think AI have made big progress and will make even more, and medical diagnostics is one of them. I completely agree with Michael on this, that yes, the algorithms can analyze medical images and cardiograms and many other things and draw conclusions better than humans, or maybe it's approaching human level now, but will exceed it soon, or in some areas of medical diagnostics perhaps already exceeded. This is completely not surprising to me, because it's data analysis. When you have a very complex system with many features, many income parameters, and you have to derive something from that, that's algorithms are better than humans. They can analyze more parameters, or potentially better. They can analyze more parameters, and mathematical model is more accurate than human guessing. Just look at weather forecast. No human can forecast weather better than a computer, because computer can analyze gazillions of data points and solve those partial differential equations fast. Humans cannot. So when it is data analysis, then AI is better than humans. Self-driving cars is decision making. The system not only analyzes, it must decide if to steer left or right, or brake or accelerate, and it's completely different story, and that's much more complicated. And similar stuff, in any type of work, when it is about decision making, when the AI or natural intelligence should decide what to do, that's probably humans are still better. In data analysis, machines could be better or already better.
Yeah. Okay. Mikhail, do you want to say? Are you okay? Are you here?
Mm-mm.
No?
Well, I do hear, but Michael apparently doesn't.
Okay. Yeah, something happened. Are you okay? Maybe the most complicated question because of it's they're together in US, but Michael may be in Russia. This is why.
Mm.
Okay, Michael. Are you here? No, no.
Yeah. Do you hear
Yeah,
me
are
now?
you here? Yes,
Yes.
yes,
Okay, okay.
ye-
I
yes,
managed
and
to defeat.
yeah, yeah,
Uh,
yeah, yeah.
yeah, I wanted to say something about self-driving cars because that was the part I actually heard. Okay, so let's start from a general artificial general intelligence. That's why we agree with
Mhm.
Sergey. There is no artificial general intelligence coming in the foreseeable future. So not in 20, 30 years, maybe 40, maybe not. Maybe it's not possible at all. We don't know yet. But do you hear me? Am I being heard?
Yes,
Okay.
I do.
So yes, general artificial intelligence is not coming anywhere soon, anytime soon. That's not going to happen. I do disagree on self-driving cars, however. And here's my reasoning. So, first of all, something we need to establish. Self-driving cars don't need to be perfect. They need to be better than human drivers. Because actually, humans are very bad at driving cars. Like, there is the lethality in car accidents is actually very significant when it comes to, to car crashes. So that's something we need to keep in mind. Second is that we actually have amazing results, not only on Tesla, but on different self-driving companies. We have a lot of very good results there. So I am very confident that in 10 years, probably 10, 15 tops, we will have cars driving better than humans do. I'm confident on that. And I have heard experts in the field predict 5 years, not 15. That's what. So that's my opinion there.
And plus, we talk about actually like the bullshit things in artificial
Mhm.
intelligence. Maybe plus we talk about deep fakes. We talk about something like the fake news too.
So deepfakes are not bullshit; they're real. But
Of
in
course.
the sense that you can use artificial intelligence to create bullshit, right? So here is where problems arise, like it just flood opens. There is a company called OpenAI, one of the leading
Yes,
companies
yes.
in artificial
We
intelligence
talked
in the
about
world.
this too. Yeah, it
Yeah.
was our conversation. What's going on with the Sam Altman project? And actually, we was like the one of the testers of this product.
Which
Yeah.
one?
Uh,
Sorry, of what product?
Yeah.
yeah, they check OpenAI for the texts.
Yes,
GPT-3?
the
Yeah,
GPT. Yes.
yeah, yeah. And this is of course like they talk with Sergey about what's going on in like the in completely different machine learning and artificial intelligence. Where is the bullshit? Yeah, go ahead.
Uh,
Yeah,
sorry about
yeah.
that. Uh, Bullshit in a sense that it's not real or artificial intelligence generating something that fooling people. What do
Mm-hmm.
you mean? No, okay. I'll I'll restructure the question. Uh,
Yeah, yeah.
people fooling other people about artificial intelligence, or artificial intelligence fooling what is fooling people? Who is fooling? People or artificial intelligence?
Sergey.
Uh,
I don't hear you.
no, no. What
No. We talk about like who is the fool.
No, yeah. So definitely Elon Musk is bullshitting the world, and other
I don't.
people like Zusk. There was the Selfdriving company, and Nikola, of course, is even more egregious example of bullshit being spread by people. Theranos was another one. Yeah, so there is a lot of promises that are outrageous and are not going to be kept in the future. But if you are talking about machine learning generating fake images, fake news, yes, that's absolutely real. That deep fake system that can generate images is absolutely real. It's here, it works. However, again, it's not as accurate as people would think. Not everything and everywhere, and probably the best example to understand where the real accuracy of those systems are is virtual backgrounds for Zoom. Everybody is using it, and you can see how inaccurate it is. It's beyond pale. It's so bad that, for example, if I would try, if I am in Zoom now and try to turn it on, then it's not capable of figure out virtual background. I mean, that I would have some photograph behind me, but now it needs to do the segmentation to figure out that this is my head and beyond should be a photo of a beach. And because I have the headset, that the software has a problem to figuring out if the headset is part of my head or it's something that should be removed. You keep the head only. And it cannot do that. Zoom virtual background cannot figure out the headset. And this is the state of the art for such systems. And not only the headset, even if I don't have it, just be like this, and still when I move my head, it wobbles, and you can see how inaccurate it is. If I raise the head, it may be visible or not, so people have their heads appearing and disappearing. So this is basically the state of the art of those pieces of technology, and it's overhyped. It's working. It is here, but it has very long way to go before it becomes as good as some promoters try to present it as. So yeah, look, if you want to see can a car could be fully self-driving, look no further than your virtual background on Zoom. My prediction that the cars will not drive fully autonomously before mankind learns how to do virtual background on Zoom. So yes, there have been tremendous progress in the last few years with artificial neural networks. It's a huge step forward, but there's still a long distance to go.
Yes, and question was actually, we talk about who is should be fool, people or artificial intelligence?
What do you mean?
Like was like a Mikhail point. Who is the bullshitter?
People. Well, people, of course. Yeah, GPT-3 can generate texts that appear written by humans, and yes, it's possible. You could fool people to a certain degree. You could write the software that would blubber and generate human-like chat. And it actually has been done. It was done maybe 30 years ago. There was the program called ELIZA.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe not even 30, but 40 years ago, even 50. It's very, very old program called ELIZA that was trying to cheat people, pretend that it's a human. So it's not very difficult to generate human-like meaningless text. It's much harder to do precise things. So again, as an example, you can hear from Google now that they are using artificial intelligence and BERT specifically in Google search. And Google search doesn't handle negation. It doesn't understand negative statements. So if you go to Google and type something like, who is the founder of Google, but not Larry Page, you would expect Sergey Brin. But Google will not deliver that result. Google AI doesn't understand statements something like, give me a color that is not blue.
Okay. Yeah.
So even such simple things are not properly handled by natural language processing now.
Okay.
So there are libraries in NLP. There are NLP libraries for negation that have like 3,000 regular expressions.
Mikhail, you want to say?
Yes, I want to tune in here because it is actually very in my field. So actually, Google doesn't use negation for technical reasons. They decided not to do it. You can't do negation. All you have to do is write with minus. So you start, you write your statement and you put minus Sergey. So if you want to find Google with negation. BERT does understand negation. Here is something funny about negation. This was actually how do you say it? A topic of my thesis.
Cool. Thesis, yeah.
You got it. I got a diploma for that. I made a BERT based system that would recognize similar sentences. So you might use different words, but if the sentence has the same, it will say the sentence is the same. It has gotten 85% accuracy, which is a good accuracy. But even previous generation models, like the one that MIT created based on LSTM, which is very previous generation. It's like 10 years previous generations. That's what I said. So it's physically previous generations. There are people who might be listening to us who are older, who are younger than LSTM. That's how old LSTM is. And there is very clear thing in the paper that presented this solution based on LSTM that shows that LSTM can handle negation. So previous generation. And my BERT solution also handled negation really well. So if you put two sentences in there, the sentence, I like my car and do not like my car, or I like the car that isn't mine, it will say that these are different sentences. This is different meaning. So the reason Google does not do negation is actually because they chose not to, because they chose to focus. What Google is looking for is not for you to type some, at least that's their idea. That's how they see their customers. I don't know if this is like a right thing to do, but then again, they're Google. Who am I to judge them? But the idea is that you type a part of the sentence. So you want to, when you say Google found that is not called Sergey, right?
Boom.
Yeah, it's again.
You the text that yes. Sorry?
Yeah. So what I'm trying to say was the following, that definitely advanced natural language processing systems can handle negation, but it's kind of on the it's the frontier. This is on the cusp of what is possible now, and even Google cannot do that or doesn't do it. It's not deliberate, definitely not. Now Google is trying to use BERT in search quality, and there were announcements recently about that. So yes, the mankind is working on this, and progress has been made. But again, that's a long way to go.
And how long?
It's very difficult to
Yes,
predict.
5 years, no, maybe.
No, maybe a few years. That's.
And what do you think? What is the next steps, like the next hype after the deep fakes
I don't know.
for the customers,
I don't know.
for the mass adoption?
It's hard to tell.
And what's going on? What's going on with different artificial intelligence? We talk about OpenAI for the speech to text, for the voice, for the video.
Well, speaking of speech to text, actually, huge progress has been recently made, and again with massive neural networks, that the quality of speech recognition is fantastic now, and the progress in the last couple of years was bigger than the previous 30, and because of these neural networks. So instead of writing rules, now people build this huge multi-layer artificial neural network, and it learns from big amount of data how to recognize text. And actually, we are involved in this stuff as well, because our chatbot should understand text. So it includes understand speech, sorry. It includes speech recognition, and we see how much better it's now. So there is even in open source, there is a couple of speech recognition systems like QuartzNet that do fantastic job. It's still not as good as humans, but sometimes it is, and sometimes it's even better. That those speech recognition systems like Google's or Microsoft. Or QuartzNet, sometimes they understand heavy accents better than humans. That when you hear a foreigner with heavy accent speaking something, you cannot understand what he or she says, but the speech recognition system can. So you look at the screen at closed captions, and you see the transcription of what was said. Moreover, Google built an experimental system. It's not in production, it's kind of research, specifically for people with hearing and speech disabilities, that people who are deaf typically speak in very strange voices because there is no feedback. They don't hear themselves. And for other people, it's very difficult to understand them. And so Google built machine learning system that understands that very special, very unique speech of people with disabilities. And it's better than humans.
Interesting. It's same for the voice and for the video.
For the
And
voice.
for example, for the case like the Michael say, for the actually for the mental health, I think it's like a really important.
Yeah, and so there are now speech recognition systems that can remove sounds other than voices. There is an Armenian startup called Crisp, 2 Hertz. The product is called Crisp from Armenia of all places. And they can remove sounds that are not speech. So suppose you are talking in a cafe and a door slams. Or the espresso machine starts making noises because we have the steam and so neural network can remove that sound but keep the voice of the people at the same level. And Google recently made the same system and demonstrated it, so you could talk and make noises like this, and it will remove them. And it's not traditional noise cancellation, which just looks at frequencies and stuff like that. It's machine learning. It understands that this sound is speech, keep it, and that other sound is somebody typing on the keyboard, and it learns that it's a different sound and subtracts it.
Sergey, it's same for the emotional, for example, because for example for the Michael, it's really important how they feeling about like the people. I don't know, like the maybe psychology disasters, because it's all about voice. I can say like the completely different voice, the different emotional style, and they can recognize my behavioral.
Yeah, I think it's totally possible. Actually, there is an emerging discipline now, computational not even computational psychology, but computational psychiatry.
Yeah.
That there are interesting works when people try to diagnose psychiatric medical conditions by the way people speak, people write, and it might be actually better for machines to do the diagnosis, because you have to calculate a lot of stuff, like how people say like
yes.
how they replace words that they forgot. So I could imagine that machine learning system could diagnose dementia better than a human, because it can analyze the text produced by the patient and with very precise analysis figure out that that person got Alzheimer or whatever.
No, but it could be like actually it could be face recognition too. It could be something like
everything. Yes. So there are systems that recognize Parkinson by from the noises people make when they walk. So the only thing you need is like 4 microphones on the floor that, or not even microphones, but a system that senses vibrations. So you have the system that gets the vibration patterns from the person who is walking, and you can analyze it and figure out that this person has Parkinson. Because it's people have tremors and whatever, and humans cannot do that for sure.
Yes.
I think the time is up, isn't it?
No, actually, Mikhail, he say, like, I don't know, what's up, something wrong with his camera.
Yeah.
Voice. By the way, yeah. No, he's coming.
It keeps crashing, but I am here.
Yeah, finally you're here. Yes, sorry for this.
Uh,
Maybe because of, yeah.
shall we wrap up? We've been.
Yeah, I can talk the stream team what's going on. Yeah, but sorry. Yeah, and we talk actually, Miguel, about how we can help in actually in medical side. They've Parkinson or completely different style, the medical disasters. How we can use voice recognition and like the face behavioral recognition for this. Yeah, it's like
Yes.
what is next? What is the next? How we can use completely different artificial intelligence? How we can try educate this?
So I'm pretty sure all the although I don't hear Sergey, I'm pretty sure he's expert enough to have covered most of the use cases. The only thing I want to add is that there are the biggest issue right now in all of these fields is not actually technology itself. Most likely, technology is good enough to do a lot of the stuff that we are not doing yet. The biggest issue is getting the data set. That's probably the biggest issue. So, for example, right, we can build an artificial intelligence that will classify your emotions based on your call pretty confidently. It's not actually
Sorry,
right.
Yeah.
But the problem is, where do you get data? You know, because like it is not that hard to get data of people being excited, talking to each other, right? But what about people being sad, people feeling anxiety, people feeling fear, anger? Where do you get those data sets? That's the issue, most likely. And the same actually goes for a lot of other medical data. Like probably it's not that hard to get data on people with Parkinson's, right? You just find these people and you pay them for sitting in front of the camera. But when it comes to more specific cases where diagnosis needs to, to be more immediate for something that just comes and goes, like epilepsy, for example, that's when you start to have a lot more issues. And that's probably the main, actually, not the technology itself. The data set is probably the main thing stopping the progress in this field.
Manana,
Yeah.
I have to go.
Yeah. Let's talk about this a little bit later on the next week.
So thank you very much for having me.
Yes.
And
thank you for this time. It was like the amazing stream, and let's talk about artificial intelligence later.
Sure.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.